Good morning once again, dear souls. It's a joy to be here. Thanks to those also for joining us online. Welcome. My name is Arnab and with Padma, and it's really a joy to share Master's teachings, his vibrations with all of us here. I'll read from Whispers from Eternity. Teach me to use every dig of criticism to bring myself nearer to thy fountain of goodness in me. Teach me to sport every scar of trials as a medal of thy chastisement, dusky at first, but now shining. Thy sacred hands were the giver, working through thy ever-just law. Let therefore every teardrop of sorrow caused by the actions of others wash away some hidden taint in my mind. Let every stroke of the pickaxe of wounding experience dig deeper and deeper into the soil of my understanding. Let every hurtful strike of circumstance into the soil of my comfort bring me nearer to the bubbling well of thy solace in my heart. Let every gash of others' hatred bring forth from me a loving cry for thy love. Let all my trials be antidotes for bitterness to bring healing solace to my soul. Let others' unkindness inspire me to be more beautifully kind. Let their darkness not blind me too, but stimulate me to seek thy light. Let their harsh word remind me to use sweet words always. And let every bruise from stones of evil that are hurled at me intensify my inner fortitude, that I bless all with my goodness. Inspire me to be like a jasmine vine which sheds flowers on those who administer axe blows to its roots. May I never fail to shower blossoms of help and forgiveness on all who try to cut me with their wickedness. First things first. Everything that comes to us comes for a reason. And the reason is God is trying to give us a hint that God is the only doer. Everything that He's given us, every challenge, every circumstance, every bitterness, every wickedness, every hatred, every bump in our lives is only to purify ourselves in search of God, in search of truth, in search of freedom. That's our first things first. Seek ye first the kingdom of God. That's what God is hinting us to do. And there's a wonderful story from Ramakrishna. He was a great saint from the late 1800s during dark Kali Yuga. And he used to give simple anecdotes to explain things. He said, think of a number that starts with 1. So you have 1. You add 0, it becomes 10, then 100. And you add more zeros, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. But guess what if you take the 1 away? It all becomes 0. So first things first, that 1 is the God, our connection to the divine, our own efforts, our own practices. That is the 1 in our life. That anchor, that is what he's talking about here. Same thing with Master. In these 2 penniless boys at Vrindavan that Padma read from there, he had completely surrendered his will, his faith to God. And guess what happened? His experience was even better than somebody that would have traveled with a lot of money and a lot of comfort and a lot of everything. They wouldn't have gotten the food. The Maharaja would not have invited them. Things would not have been the same. One time we were at SRW, I think it was 2 years back. We were sitting with Jyotishan Devi and Asha and the other leaders of Ananda, and they shared a story. They said that, it has happened so many times. One time they explained that, they said they'd gone to Goa in India for some trip. And Jyotish said, I was just carrying $15 in my checkbook, And we had a wonderful time there. We met a lot of people. There was so much joy, so much love. When I came back, I still had $15 with me. And then Asha quipped and said that, okay, when Swamiji is, and this is with Swamiji is when they went, and Asha said, when Swamiji is around, the economics works differently. So that's the story of supply and demand. The supply is always there. We have to demand it the right way. Anything that we do in life, we are trying to go and become rich or famous or, have so much of these things that this will give us joy, this will give us joy. It always falls a little short, doesn't it? It's almost like a cul-de-sac. You go and you find that, oops, I have to come back again and try something else. In the Mahabharata, there is a beautiful, not in the Mahabharata, yes, in the Mahabharata there is a story. This is about Lord Krishna. When he was little, he used to steal butter. And his mother, Yashoda, was getting mad at him that she's making the butter and he's stealing it. So she tried to tie him to a mortar jar with a rope. She got a long rope, tied it, it fell 2 inches short. And then she made another rope which is twice as big. That fell 2 inches short. And she kept increasing the length of the rope, but it all kept falling short. This is an allegorical story. This is basically saying that you're trying to bind God with your physical means, and he'll always fall this short. And that's the trick that God will play with us. If it's a mile short, okay, that's not going to work, right? But it's always like you can reach it. If you follow that path, if you do this, if you get that business or get that lottery or do this, do that, you'll get there. But no, you're always 2 inches short. And then finally Yashoda gave up and said, okay, divine, it's up to you, it's your will. And then Krishna himself held to get himself tied to the mortar jar, which means that God is giving into your love. That's the only thing that he does not have. He has everything else. He's only looking for our love. And then what is the other significance of stealing butter? What is butter in this example or in anything that in the life of Krishna? Butter is basically the heart softened with love that makes it pure. And Krishna is coming to steal that love from you. So God is coming and saying, okay, I want your love. Give it to me. And then I can replace that with my love and you can feel it in your hearts. And then your path to the divine, your path to realization will become smoother, will become more beautiful, more joyful. And in this, it will move beyond the sense of being formal or having distance with God or anything that we have as hindrances in our life. Now, we are here today instead of being somewhere else because we have this seek inside us. We want to know what life is all about. We want to find that joy. So every time we do this, why do we still fall 2 inches short? What is it that prevents us from constantly bringing this first things first in our lives? So, it just so happened, and this is all Master doing it through me. I had a harrowing week this last week. I was just telling Dharana. It was 16, 18-hour days, Monday through Friday. And then yesterday I had a commitment that I was out from 11 in the morning to about 10 at night. I was just praying to Master all throughout, saying that, okay, I have a talk to give on Sunday. I need time so that I can meditate and I can pray. And he kept giving me these, little hints. And one of these hints was a podcast, actually. And this podcast was around how to overcome negativity in your life, how to overcome restlessness in your life. And this is a very interesting fact. This person did some research, and I'm forgetting his name now, that says, all the thoughts that we have, feelings, anxiety, talking to ourselves, oh, I did not get that done, oh my God, this, that, and all. It almost is like, and they came up with this number, I don't know how, but it sounds very good. It's about 4,000 words a minute we talk to ourselves. Just imagine, 4,000 words a minute, and the way they explain that, how much is that? They say it's like reading a Harry Potter book in 20 minutes. So that's the amount of war that is going on in our minds. And what do these words do? These words actually cut grooves in our mind. And as the grooves are cut, the consciousness is flowing through the mind. It's like a record player. Now, if the grooves are cut in a different way, the music will not come through. It will sound like noise. Science is doing more and more research on what's called neuroplasticity. And neuroplasticity is where your brain, the fit, form, and function of the brain is continually getting morphed by what you're feeding it. And what you're feeding it is also how you see world around you. So we see the world as we are, not as the world is, because what we are feeding our mind. So now imagine if you have 4,000, enemies that are constantly attacking you, we can clearly understand why we are falling 2 inches short. What is it that will get us out of this? Step number 1 to get first things first is to understand how to get out of that zero. To get out of zero, then you get to first. The zero is stop the clutter. We have to stop the clutter. Only through meditation, through our practices, we can actually calm our minds down and really put firewall around these words so they don't come and attack us. Jyotish, in one talk, he said that the best experience in life is when we have the realization that in the stillness of our mind, in the silence of our soul, we see joy and happiness at the center of every life's experience. So just imagine that. You're going through a hard time. How do you see joy? How do you see happiness at the center of that experience? Is only through surrender. We don't have the big picture. We have a little video camera and we can see only what that screen has. We don't know what happened in the past. We don't know what's going to come next. God knows. The divine knows. And the reason we are there is basically only for our own spiritual growth. It is engineered divinely for us and us alone, one at a time. If you remember Swamiji's talks and books, he says that when the soul reincarnates, first as a stone or something, it actually has a frequency that's unique to that soul. All its way, 8 million lives, and into human form and into freedom. It's that same vibration that carries throughout the soul's journey. We are all unique. That's why it's called self-realization, not group realization. We help each other in a group in satsang, but it's self-realization and it's all unique. So step number 1 is to first understand where we are. So if you listen to these words and you pull yourself out like the Brahman, the observer behind the observer, the eyes behind what we are actually seeing, the ears behind what we are hearing, that's the Brahman, that's consciousness. We stop, you can listen to these words and say, okay, those are not my words. That's not me. Step back. And as we step back in our meditation, as the stillness grows, as we lift energy up, and we've walked through all these karmas and knots and everything that we have that is pulling us, out of this into delusion, energy getting all scattered, stillness starts to come. So the forgetfulness of God, that is the biggest challenge that we have. There's a nice story from Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu's greatest disciple was Narada. All of you have heard of Narada? Okay. So he was the greatest disciple of Lord Vishnu. There are many stories about him. So Lord Vishnu wanted to test first things first with Narada one time and said, okay, Narada, I'm giving you this bowl of oil and it's filled to the brim. Like, you just lose attention, it will spill. He said, your job today is to walk around my world, carry that bowl, bring it back to me without spilling a drop. He said, okay. Because he was the greatest disciple, your wish is my command. So he takes the bowl and he keeps walking, and he goes around the world and all the 3 worlds and comes back and says, Lord, I've fulfilled your wish. Not a drop has been dropped from this bowl. Are you happy with me? So Vishnu says, as you were walking, how many times did you think of me? And he's saying, Lord, you gave me this bowl. I just had to make sure that I'm stepping correctly and that nothing is falling over. You see? So that's our lives. Our lives' bowls are filled with delusions and likes and dislikes and desires and wants and ups and downs and all of that, and we are carrying that bowl all around, and we are trying to be happy. It is not possible. I don't know if it's mathematically not possible, but for us spiritual seekers, we have tried it again and again, and we know it does not work. That's the definition of insanity. You try the same thing over and over again and expect different results. It does not work. And the same thing happened to me. I had in this week, I was really, that bowl was so full, but I was really praying to Master, and Master said, he just gives hints, just like that other hint I mentioned. He said, serve. That's like a flash it came. So everything I did as if I'm serving the people that, at my workplace. It just changes the way you look at life. And you feel that, okay, it's no longer a chore. I don't have to accomplish this. I have to be, and you put people in front of you, and then you feel what God as the only doer really, it's not an understanding, it's an experience. God is the only doer is not something concrete or finite, or it's an experience. And once you have that good cheese, it is impossible not to have that. Ramakrishna's wife, Saradama, she was also a very advanced avatar, advanced disciple. So Ramakrishna's disciples used to say, we are trying to raise our energy to go to superconscious, and she's trying to bring it down to come to our levels. Because when they are at that level and they've tried all these things, they cannot come down from that level. To them, God is the only door, is us like breathing. When we breathe and we are brushing our teeth, we don't think. So that is the level they are at. So that's number one, forgetfulness of God. What is the second thing that gets us stuck in neutral and not get into this first thing first? Negativity. Master said, God has given us this gift of memory, and all human beings, we misuse it by remembering bad experiences and dwelling on it. And it has magnetism. You start dwelling on things, it starts dwelling on you. It's like a rabbit hole. You keep going down and down and down. But we have teachings. We have our Kriya Yoga practice. We have meditation. It's like a buoyancy. Every time something comes, you offset that with something that is higher, with more positive, and that becomes a practice. Everything that comes to us is for our own spiritual growth. For example, coming to Sunday service, satsangs, group meditation. These are places where we can help each other, because not everybody will be at the same level all the time. We can always come to each other's help so that our path to moving out into the light keeps going better and better and better. And what does that drive? It also drives habit. When you're in this habit of a certain way of thinking, it takes a hold on you. And sometimes you get, caught in that, and it is always a challenge to get out of it. But we have to just snap out of it. That is what Kriya Yoga and our path teaches us, pushing energy through it to get out of it. Then the third thing is restlessness and comparisons. That's also a very dangerous thing. In the world we live in today, there is so much restlessness around. There is so much unease. There is so much violence, so much uncertainty, so much uncivility, if you will, all around. I mean, if you want to just feed on those 400 words from the world, your mind will be full with 4,000 not great words if you're just taking it from that world. We cannot do that. Master is basically asking us, do not do that. Do not get into this mode of restlessness. Do not get into this mode of outer forms and always keep falling 2 inches short and comparisons. It's a very subtle form of restlessness. Oh, I'm not doing this. That person did that. This person did that. Well, and constantly comparing things. Do not compare. We are unique. Just like that frequency that soul is carrying through. Our experience is our own, and only for us to learn from it and to evolve from it. Swamiji put it very nicely. He said there's a very easy way to do it. It's not easy to practice, but easy to understand. Is that whenever you have these moments of restlessness and feeling I'm comparing or something that is holding you back, try to put your ego onto the back seat, because this is all coming from ego. And Swamiji and Master and all our great teachers have said that The biggest challenge is to getting over the ego. Once the ego dissolves, then we are free. So consciously try to take the ego and put it on the back seat. It's no longer on the passenger seat. It's no longer the driver. Put it on the back seat or outside the car that you are driving. And then it's uncomfortable, because our definitions that we have about ourselves, that is all coming through the senses. All these mental grooves that we have, that we are taking in, and the consciousness flowing through it, creating this sense of me and my definitions and things like that, that's all ego. How do you get out of yourself? How do you get out of the ego without getting out of yourself? Is through this connection and surrender. It takes practice. So practice is very important, and more we feel in our meditations that joy, that connection, that blessing of the masters. Adi Shankaracharya, who basically resurrected the Sanatana Dharma in the Kali Yuga, he said in the 3 words, the greatest gift is to have the gift of a guru, self-realized avatar as your guru. We are so blessed. We have 5 avatars in this lineage who have come for the past 100+ years to offer this path to us. And with this blessing and with this gift, if we lean into that, if we offer ourselves into that, they will teach us. We have to follow it. They're always talking to us. It's our noise and those words in our head that prevents us from listening. So giving the ego a push to the back seat, calming our restlessness, not doing comparisons, not having negative thoughts, always putting God first in everything we do, whether it's good or bad. You have given this to me. I will do my best. I will fight this battle of life, standing exactly where I am, and I will win this battle. This is Master saying on the board, on the Sparta when he was coming over. His words. I'm not exactly saying it the right way, but that's what he meant. This is a battlefield. So, next is the obvious one, which is material desires, but I want to touch on the subtle ones. And Devi, in one of our talks, she called these unnecessary luxuries. When we are renunciates, we think the big ones that, if we are over them, we are on a good path. We don't have desire for money or for houses or this or that and all. But there are unnecessary luxuries, is what she called. Like, well, I just skip the energization today. Or maybe have a couple of extra sweetmeats this evening. Or I'll cut short my meditation. It's little things that creep up on you, because it is always one foot in front of the other. That is what we have to do. Constant vigil, and we cannot ever relax our vigilance, because if we do, Satan is doing energization big time all the time. They're going to come and grab you. That is the problem. And because these images of these things penetrate so much into our consciousness, it almost feels like, yeah, it is okay to do that. You stop it one day, next day it becomes easier. That's one big problem with comparing or complaining or any of those kinds of things. You do it one day, the next day it becomes a little easier. Next day it becomes a little easier, and it becomes a habit. We cannot get into this habit of unnecessary luxuries because they're very subtle. The big ones are easier, the subtle ones are more complicated. And finally, it is about using our techniques. The techniques that have been given to us in our path are so sacrosanct, are so proven, and it is our airplane route to freedom. Not only the airplane route, it is we are sitting on the business class of that airplane and given to us by Babaji. And if we do not follow that, if we do not take these jewels, if we do not take these teachings and make it our own, it's up to us. And then we cannot complain that, well, this is happening, that is. No, we need to, bootstrap ourselves to put Guru and God in front of everything so that we keep on our path. So if you connect all of these things together, what are the steps that we need which will get us out of this zero, or keep us on this first things first path. Number one is clarity. What do we want to do? If you're happy with what we have, possessions, family, vacations, this, that, retirement, marriages, etc., that's great. Many people in the world are still imbued in that consciousness, and that's for them. But if you want freedom, I want moksha in this lifetime, liberate us, Master, help us. Get away, help us get away from your ocean of delusion into truth and into freedom, and we cannot for one more second tolerate the pain and the sufferings that we are getting, and it's becoming so excruciatingly painful. It's like somebody holding your head down in the water and you're trying to breathe. If you want God and liberation that much, then the clarity starts coming. That's the first clarity we need. Second is to commit to it. Once having clarity is one thing, but committing your energy, committing everything in life that revolves around that clarity is the second point. So that means now nothing else is the priority but knowing God and achieving liberation. Third is our concentration. So now that we have committed to it, then comes our free will. Free will to concentrate that no matter what happens, that's the only thing that I want to do. That's the only path I want to follow. Bumps will come. Bumps are coming from God as well. He's helping us get stronger. So concentrate, free will, and focus. And finally, we cannot do it alone. That's our connection to God, the divine. So the divine connection is our first, that's the tether that will keep us going on this path. So what I will do this time is I want all of you to sit up straight, and we will pray together. So this is one of Master's prayers. So close your eyes, sit up straight, fold your hands, and visualize Master in this room. And if you have seen videos, he'll walk onto the stage and say, I am Yogananda, I am praying, pray with me. So imagine that Master praying for us, Master praying with us. And in your minds, repeat. Teach me to worship Thee in breathlessness and in deathlessness. In the fire of devotion, burn away my ignorance. In the stillness of my soul, come, Spirit, come. Possess me and teach me to feel Thy immortal presence in and around me. Come, Spirit, come. Come, Spirit, come. Keep that vibration going. Call on Spirit all the time. Let us all the time, call on Spirit, because that's the one in our lives. Without that one, we'll always be 2 inches short, and we'll always have more and more challenges that will push us back. So I'll close with a very delightful story. This one was shared by Swami Nitai. He is the founder of Ananda's How to Live schools. You have heard of our Education for Life, and he's doing wonderful work in India. So he was sharing the story of Ramayana with some kids. I don't know which country this is. So in one of the part of the story, he said Rama was sitting in the forest, and he was meditating, and he was in samadhi. And they're little kids. And then he stopped and asked, do you know what samadhi is? And there's this little girl called Nicole. She raised her hand and she said, yes, I know. Okay, Nicole, what is it? He said, when you're sitting still and you're not moving, and there's not a thought coming to your mind, and somebody comes up to you and says, Nicole, Nicole, you turn and you don't see anybody there. So let's all be childlike in our prayers, in our stillness, and you'll hear God calling your name, because He's waiting for you. He's waiting for all of us. God bless you all.